Hi, welcome to Studio 18. I'm Jill Slaughter. The current show is The Fine Line and We Got Dumped. The Fine Line has 5 artists from Studio 18 that express their vision of form, shape, and line. We Got Dumped is a show that addresses the theme of loss and endings and has the artists using dumpsters as their canvas. Let's take a look. This is Dawn Verheerlewegen, and Dawn is an artist here at Studio 18 whose masterful graphite drawings for this show of The Fine Line cover social, politics, events in the world. So typically your work has been much less serious than the beautiful drawings that you've done here, which evoke so much emotion. So tell me, how were you inspired to do this body of work?
Well, I really felt that in getting a studio here in Studio 18 in the Pines, I was really thrilled, very excited to have a feature show. I've never had that experience on this scale before, and I really felt I wanted to use it as an opportunity to say something about some of the issues that I care about. And I wanted to create a series sort of related to those themes and also to themes of hope and love and themes that unite us all. And I'm hoping that people will kind of look at what I've done here and maybe volunteer or contribute in some way and start thinking about those issues, because if you can see them, you can change them.
Dawn is really talented. We're here Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6, and Saturday 10 to 2. You can come and see her drawings any of those times. This is Anna Agorvere, and she has addressed the theme of loss and endings by painting a piece called The Food We Waste, which is, as you can see, all the food that, we just sort of put in the trash, but she makes looks beautiful. So can you tell us about your inspiration for this?
When I got the task of doing this dumpster, I decided, well, we can go metaphorically, romantically, but I decided to go realistic. And because my paint always is realistic, what better theme that what we waste for real. And why the food for me is like a concern, because we go to restaurants and we throw away so many food. We buy so many things that comes like just to hit it and eat it, and then you buy bottles of water that, by the way, they're very toxic because the plastic. It's a big concern because it's very hard to recycle. Mm-hmm.
Well, you make something wasteful look really beautiful. Thank you. You can see more of Anna's work at Studio 18. She has a studio here, and you can visit us at any time during the week or on Saturdays. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
This is Lance Goldstein. He's Studio 18's newest artist, and he focuses on painting imagery that's really soothing. He invites his audience to look as well as to see the images that he paints. Lance, can you tell us about your inspiration for your work?
Well, I think my inspiration comes a lot from nature. And I think my inspiration comes from just basic shapes and colors that you see around you. So I try to arrange them in a way that is pleasing, and hopefully in a way that you will see new things every time you look at them.
And so when you paint, are you thinking about the outcome, or are you thinking about the process?
Actually, when I paint, the whole thing is a process. So just the beginning, when you start, when you have an idea, and then you start on the idea, and maybe you think you're getting there, and then you go through a crisis where it's like, oh, am I really going to get there? And then if you just tough it out, eventually you do. So for me, the whole thing is a process.
Well, Lance has taught us all a lot about just being in the process of painting and not worrying about what it looks like, because anything you create is beautiful. Thank you so much for being our newest artist here at Studio 18.
Thank you. It's really an honor to be here with all these artists.
This is William Bach, and he's addressed the theme of loss and endings by painting something called We'll Be Back. Can you talk to us about that?
The idea of We'll Be Back is that the Earth and all its inhabitants have gone through many changes over the millennia. The idea that the dinosaurs were here for 230 million years, we've only been here for 1.5 million years. And so many things have happened to the planet and to us in that time frame, from meteorite impacts to supervolcanoes, and now we have global warming, and more apropos, where do we put our trash? How do we layer it? How do the layers of geological time compress upon each other, and what's left afterwards? So the idea of, we'll be back, a little tongue-in-cheek, but also that the dinosaurs may be back. I mean, who's to say that if they evolved over 150, 200, 250 million years, that if and when we're gone, they might resurface and reclaim the planet. So it's a constant change that we're going
I suppose anything's possible. To see more of William's work, come to Studio 18. He has a beautiful studio here. Thanks, William.
Thank you, Jill.
We Got Dumped was made possible by the generous donation of All Service Refuse, who provided us with the dumpsters for our artists to use as their canvas. This is Lori Pradaco, an artist that we invited to participate in We Got Dumped, and she addresses loss and endings by showing us a trilogy of 3 different people. She's going to explain that to us. Lori?
Well, when I heard the words loss and endings, I just suffered a loss recently of someone in my family that was young, and it was very unexpected. So right away I thought how there are no exceptions to loss and endings, and there are no exceptions to being left behind, which is why I did the pictures of a child, a teenager, and a senior. I really just wanted to approach a serious theme in a fun way. I wanted color. I wanted people to be drawn to it and then look into it and kind of feel the meaning of it.
Well, it's very beautiful and evocative. To see more of Lori's work, she will be featured in the Sincerity Project, and so we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, Lori.
Thanks so much.
This is Reuben Ubiera. He is Studio 18's artist in residence. He is an amazing artist, and his technique is post-graphism. And Reuben, can you tell us what that means?
Well, post-graphism, what I believe, is the evolution of graffiti. It's something that, it's been happening. There's a lot of artists like me that never really did graffiti, but found inspiration on the urban arts. And
well, what makes Reuben's work so different is that he is classically trained and really a master draftsman, and so he marries the 2 elements of graffiti and also classic arts. So Reuben, I know you teach a class here. Can you tell us about urban pop?
Yes. Urban pop is going to be a class mostly post-graphism induced, but it's going to be working with found objects, and you don't have to have any experience in the arts field to take it. It's mostly about experimenting and dealing with subjects that can't really be put down on paper.
So you can go and to Studio 18 website to find out more about what our artists are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. This is Justin Velona, who also goes by the name Envy, and his incredible work is called Four-Sided Story? Yeah. And so there's so many different elements to this piece. Justin, can you explain your inspiration for this?
Well, the theme was We Got Dumped, so it was just all about heartbreak and finding love and losing love and finding love and losing love. So keeps going around and around. So it's got 4 stories for each side, obviously, and just went with that.
And your technique is, how would you describe that?
Urban graffiti-ish. Yeah. I don't know.
But it's also so beautiful and so evocative. And this man that you painted here, can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, he's a ghost, and even after life, he's still chasing the girl of his dreams. So that's what it says at the bottom. She will walk away, you must follow. So through the rest of his life, he's keep reaching. That's what it says on the top. Well,
Justin's done a really provocative image of loss and endings, and we thank you so much for being at Studio 18 with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. On August 5th, Studio 18 will host the Sincerity Project, a show which will feature more than 40 artists whose work will be interpreted by more than 100 guest artists from the special needs community. We invite you to join us. This is Valletta Zitman, and we're going to talk to her about her series of voluptuous, sensual women that's called Nudity Allowed. Can you tell us more about how you developed this body of work?
This Nudity Allowed is a response from all the limitations there are in all the entries for the competitions for shows and galleries. They have size limitations, no nudity allowed, no religious work allowed, and I'm not against limitations. I think they're necessary, but nudity is harmless.
Right.
And I don't see, and it's natural, and it's part of us, and it's part of our beauty.
Thank you so much, Valletta. Thank you. This is Jacqueline, and Jacqueline's been at the studio for about 5 weeks, and she has such a beautiful last name. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm going to let her say it. It is?
Laflam.
Laflam, so beautiful, as are her paintings, which are everyday icons that are really imbued with brilliant color and this volcanic explosion of color that makes you want to see them and actually be in them. So tell us about your inspiration, Jackie.
Well, a lot of my inspiration actually comes from my own imagination. I really like to go inside my head and inside myself and just pull things out and put it on the canvas.
And Jackie has illustrated a project called the Fairy Tale Project. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, they're actually a series of 3 children's books that were written by an author, Danny Lynn, and I've had the great fortune to illustrate them. And the works have been in a traveling exhibition in the past year throughout different libraries in Broward County. So it's very exciting, and it's an ongoing project, and you can check it out at thefairytaleproject.com.
And Jackie has many of the paintings in her studio. Drop by any time to meet Jacqueline and also to see the work. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed meeting the artists from The Fine Line and We Got Dumped. Studio 18 hosts events the first Friday of every month, always from 7 to 9, always free. We invite you to visit us at www.ppines.com/studio18 to see our full schedule of events and classes. Studio 18 poses the question, how do you see art? Become a cultural tourist and visit us to determine your response.